What's up, folks? It's TGC, guys. TGC just got finished watching WWE Monday Night Raw. We want to discuss it. We want to debate. We want to know exactly what you want to hear. So what you need to do for us is give us something to discuss. Let's just go ahead and do a little something like that. Bam! Now you see TGC. You see the man, the voice of Wrestle Your Way podcast. This is TGC right now live for WrestleYourWay.com. So basically, like, what we're looking at discussing is CM Punk's sudden change from, you know, the tweener that we all have known and loved to the man that we're now seeing who feels despised and shut down by The Rock. So exactly, like, where did we go wrong by having The Rock come in and try to do his 15 minutes of fame twice in one night, of course? So that might be one step that we're hitting. CM Punk isn't looking for a push, right? Like, he doesn't need another push. He has the biggest push of them all. He has the freaking WWE Championship. So obviously, there's something going on right now that we're not seeing. It might be the fact that CM Punk isn't just doing it for the ratings. If that's not doing it, you know, if CM Punk's not cutting it, then obviously they need to push it to John Cena, because him having the championship for so long, and it just made it just seem right? You know what TGC's saying right here? You know, like, John Cena, no, come on, man. Big Show would bring better ratings than CM Punk would. Ah, nice cold beverage. Texas proud, man. You know, we have a lot of things. We're still trying to set up completely, guys. You know, we're going to make some phone calls. We're going to bring some people in. We're going to let them have an opinion about what's going on. And, you know, it's going to be a couple people from staff are going to be calling in. TGC has one special guest set up to help discuss what was going on. And, you know, it's just looking... This Monday Night Raw, it wasn't the best in TGC's opinion, but it was pretty good. You know, showing AJ's talents as it was just set up a good point. She's able to talk. She's able to be charismatic. She's able to bring forth the pain. She makes a good point, and she's straight. You know, she's straight edge. She's just like CM Punk, but in management status. You know, she's a good GM because she's able to be manipulative. How would Big Show bring more ratings than CM Punk? Well, you need to realize CM Punk's held the championship for going on 400 days or something like that. He's had it over a year. You know, people have seen CM Punk. You know, we've seen exactly what CM Punk can bring us, and he can't bring us anything new. He's completely stuck at where he's the face of the WWE. He's not showing us anything new. He hasn't shown us any new maneuvers. He hasn't shown us any new pipe bombs. He hasn't done any kind of new segments. He doesn't do it like Roddy Piper used to do in the old days. He hasn't proved himself ever since, you know, being handed the golden key and been holding it ever since. John Cena at least did a lot of crazy crap in the beginning of the shows. He would talk the trash. He would make people laugh. He would make the ratings and the show watchable. Big Show can be a comedian. We've seen it back in the Attitude Era when he was adjusting left and right, going about, doing all the gimmicks and the changes and whatnot. He was doing it. The Big Show can be manipulative and make the show bring more ratings. He's able to, be the arrogant asshole, sorry for the language, but it's true, that he can be, and it would bring a new aspect of the whole wrestling genre, because we've never seen an era with Big Show at it. Honestly, guys, like the longest we've seen him is probably about 3 or 4 months. And that was like at his full potential. We haven't seen Big Show actually prove himself to the WWE Universe, and that's what we need. We need Big Show or John Cena back. Personally, TGC would prefer Big Show or an Undertaker run. An Undertaker run. The Big Show, how can he not wrestle a match? He's wrestled more matches than most wrestlers have. Alright, so you're saying every main event. Alright, this is coming from WrestleManiac 550. Every main event with Show as champion would be the same match. You would think that, but you need to realize, he's done high-flying maneuvers. He's gone through the ring. He's jumped through tables. He's done, whatever he can to entertain. It's never been the same with the Show as when he was doing the championship run. Every single time he was the champion, he would always bring his full game because he would put his entire career on the line. TGC remembers back in the Attitude Era when Big Show jumped from a ladder through a table while making sure that the person who threw him off, actually, it was in a dark match, actually survived. He had the guy sitting there holding him like this, and it looked like the guy was, swan diving him, but bam, no, Big Show fell off the ladder through the table, bam, high flyer type stuff right there. And you don't see that from the Big Show because if he lands wrong, his career's over. And you wouldn't want to see it that. Oops. TGC's been drinking a little bit. You wouldn't want to see that era end because Big Show, just like a bunch of the other Attitude Era wrestlers, he's one of the finals. If he leaves, we're going to be down to only a couple of the Attitude Eras left. Christian and a couple others. So we're down to the very nitpicky about it. And Randy Orton can't even be classified as an Attitude Era wrestler. He wasn't there. Basically what's happening right now is we're trying to set up the first caller to come in and basically argue with Chris Gold, mano a mano. But what we got to do is we got to drop the frame rate because it seems that the stream's a little bit laggy. TGC apologized for that. He normally doesn't have any issues when it comes to this particular aspect. It might be because somebody else is on the internet, but you can't really complain. Boober86. God, this is going to be an interesting little discussion that we have. Let's see what happens. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and add this guy in here real fast. Andrew Hughes. He wants us to give him a call. Over here. Hi. And if it is lagging a bit, guys, you need to understand, we're sort of pushing in terms of speed and timing, and with this, we didn't really test the stream beforehand because TGC streamed video games on this, and there's been no lag. So what? Oh, this damn webcam. Basically, what TGC is thinking is going on right now is there's something going on the internet, and it's causing just a little bit of a lag. So you can't really complain. We're not having huge amounts. So let's go ahead and give this guy a call. Uh-oh. Yeah, there we go. Is he gonna answer? Andrew?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, bro? You got a question for TGC?
Yeah, where do you think they're going to go with CM Punk's character from here? I mean, where else can he go with besides just turning him full heel?
Well, there's a couple of different places that they can take CM Punk. I mean, going full heel, there's a rumor that Kevin Nash has been throwing out there trying to do the NWO type skit. And there's no real reason they would do it, but that's a possibility. They could, potentially bring it to where CM Punk brings the NWO back around, and then bam, they suddenly have a new viewership, and it just pops up there, and then whatever happens. Another aspect is they could do it like they did with Austin when he was in the nation, or when he was doing the whole Vince McMahon, as my partner type thing, where he did the skit for a couple months, and then he suddenly turned around and became a face again because it just wouldn't work. There's a possibility with that being an aspect. But right now, what they're doing with CM Punk, the only thing that makes sense is they're trying to make sure that CM Punk gets the limelight as a heel that he gets right now. And TGC thinks that they're heading straight towards a full heel turn and making sure that CM Punk, completely overtakes the heel scene. Do you understand? You understand what TGC's saying?
I understand what you're saying, man.
So you know exactly what TGC's at right now. It seems that he's been a babyface for going on almost 6-7 months. He had a little bit of tweener status going on. Right after getting the title. And he was like where it was a heads or tails type thing. And it just didn't make sense where he was standing at. And then all of a sudden he went babyface, straight up, hey, look, I support everybody in the back. I'm here for them. I'm the voice of the voiceless. That whole skit. And then, it just gets old. It just happens on occasion. It just gets old. And what they're doing right now is they're changing up the game because people aren't just ready to pay attention to a babyface CM Punk anymore. And that's the only thing that makes sense right now. Do you have any other questions for us, man?
Well, why the heck is Brodus Clay and Damian Sandow going through a feud right now? Why waste the time with this?
So, all right. So that's actually a really nice little question you could ask because the storyline doesn't make sense. There's no reason for them to do it except for have filler airspace. In TGC's honest opinion, it has to be filler airspace. They don't have any other hot topics. They just brought Randy Orton back, so there's another little segment that they could bring in. But they just didn't have it. They didn't have the time per se to schedule it so they can make it happen. And now, seeing as that they got their wrestler back, we're going to finally see a little bit more progression on his storylines. Brodus Clay is going to start going back to doing his little dancing segments again, and that kind of stuff. And then Damian Sandow, they want to push him. That's why they brought him out last week on the DX segment. They want to push him because he has the charisma skills. He has the talking skills, and they want to push that a little bit more and make it so that he's just... You just don't want to listen to him anymore. Sort of just like you don't want to listen.
But why did they bring...
What's up?
I was say, why did they bring Vicky Guerrero out then for this?
With that, TGC has no idea. Why is Vicky Guerrero involved at all right now in the WWE presence universe in general? Doesn't make sense. She should be in managerial status. She needs to stay there. TGC completely baffled. She's not a good-looking lady unless she's completely naked. But you know where TGC's going with this. She's not good-looking unless she's undressed. And then maybe you'll get a grin every now and then, but it's just not doing it for the WWE Universe. Whenever you see Vicky Guerrero, you just want to slap your TV screen and say, no, go backstage. Go make a sandwich. Go in the kitchen. Just go deal with your children. It's just, you just don't want Vicky Guerrero there anymore. And so, I mean, that's just where we're at on that status right there, bro. It makes no sense.
Why the heck... The other problem I have also with this Raw is, why is Santino, who is a SmackDown superstar, the U.S. champ, why isn't he just stay on SmackDown, where the U.S. title is supposed to be defended, which probably won't, as we find out with the TNA TV title. It doesn't get defended every week. Is that what's going to happen now with the U.S. title?
Basically, right now they just recently updated, the Raw Super Show type tagline. They've opened up Raw for both shows. So superstars are going to be able to come over from SmackDown in the NXT, blah, 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 all that. You're going to see a lot more people come over in Raw, and you're going to see a lot of Raw superstars on SmackDown. But the problem with that, just like you brought up, Santino is making more appearances on Raw. He has a U.S. title, and it's a SmackDown exclusive title, so he can technically only defend it on SmackDown, but he's not doing any title defenses because he's working a Raw show. So basically, what we're looking at is a little bit of a quarrel here, and Santino, his push is for comedic value only. He's the U.S. title holder. He's there. He makes people laugh. It's fun. It's fancy free, but he's not a serious contender. The push that they gave him, they need to make him more of a contender. They need to make him have a little bit of a tweener serious turn, not a heel turn, because if he turned heel like he did originally when he did with the whole Maria thing, it's going to be complete and utter garbage once again. It's not going to happen. Santino's going to shut down, and it's just going to complete and utter garbage. So they need to tweak just a little bit, and make his serious aspect come out a little bit more, instead of being the whole you just make this. Do the thumb like Umaga did before but yeah, it just makes more sense that way. So, I mean, Santino Marella, the whole TGC was actually watching his debut on Top 10 Debuts or whatever. Santino's debut was complete and utter garbage. It made no sense whatsoever, pulling a guy out. But Santino himself, first off, it's a good little aspect that they get to keep bringing in. He's the U.S. champion, but yet he's not American citizen. Good twist. But honestly, TGC doesn't know where they're going with it. It just doesn't make sense. But, the WWE writers right now, none of them make sense. They don't really know where they're going. They're just rolling dice and hoping that they get double sixes. If they don't, then they work with what they get. So that's basically where we're at, man.
Yes. So, how much longer till we go to back to 2 hours for Raw?
Back to 2 hours? TGC would probably say it'll stay 3 hours for at least a year, and then they'll run out of budget, and then you'll be back to the 2 hour Raw. It's like, oh, it's a phenomenon. We're back to 2 hour Raw. Yeah, fireworks, and they're just using it for excuses. Probably a year, because in the WWE things last a year. Title runs, segments, storylines, it normally lasts a year. We don't realize it because it's so fluid, quote unquote, that it just works. So right now, internet connection problem. But to wrap that question up, we'll probably be a year, and then we'll see what goes on from there. Thank you, Andrew, for all your questions, and let's see who else we got on the line. Hang up. There we go. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you. You now have exclusive access to Wrestle Your Way's SummerSlam pay-per-view for getting involved in this little discussion with TGC. Alright. What we got right now is we're going to bring in the man that does everything TGC works for. Let's see if we can get him on the line. Can we get the main man? Maybe he'd be able to discuss some stuff with us. See, this guy right here, he wanted to chime in on TGC's his little excursion. See, is he going to come in? Uh-oh. What we got going on, guys? There it is. Boss man? Alright, boss man can't connect. A little bit of problem on TGC's end with his internet. It seems we might have... TGC's running at half a kilobyte per second upload, so there's not really a problem going on here. But there probably is, you know, we got people on the internet going on right now, so... But we did have a nice little discussion. Let's see if we can get Boss Man in here. There he is.
Can you hear me now or what?
There we go, boss man. Welcome back. Welcome officially. All right.
How's everybody doing?
Well, hopefully everybody's doing fine. TGC's doing fine. We got 4 viewers. We got 1 official SummerSlam subscriber. Thanks to their discussion and input towards the lovely Raw after show. What did you feel about Raw, Yaya?
It was a mess from the beginning. As soon as I saw the fire situation, I already knew. That whole fire thing messed up the whole show. There was no pirates in the beginning. It was supposed to be the 1001 episode. No pirates in the beginning because they fucked it up before the show. Half of the screens was out because they fucked it up before the show.
It just seemed like they were.
The whole show was a mess. The whole entire show was just a complete mess.
It was a mess. You say it was a mess. What was the mess about? Like besides the pyrotechnics, like the inexperienced guys.
Oh no! Besides all that, the writing on it wasn't entertaining at all. I was more entertained by chatting with the new streamer. Which, by the way, everybody, we got a new streamer. I'll introduce you guys tomorrow. I guess to him. I'm gonna see if I can get him to call like on Thursday.
Okay.
Or something.
Yeah, hopefully by that time.
Are you gonna be doing this for TNA or?
Yeah, we'll hook us up with TNA. We'll do a SmackDown. Hopefully by that time, TGC will finally be able to control the little bit rate problems that we have going on. It's fluctuating between about.
No. TGC's got to stop doing whatever he's doing with the server. I'll take care of the server situation. I'll tell you the settings for it, what to put.
Awesome. So, TGC is listening to the boss man, but the boss man's here. You know, he's talking to the TGC guy, the voice of Wrestle Your Way. Yaya's the boss man of Wrestle Your Way. So you guys, you know, if you're listening, bow down to this man. He's making it possible for you to watch the streams, and his opinion counts more than TGC's does, if you believe it or not. So yeah, Yaya says, you know, the Raw was a piece of crap. You know, it wasn't really worth what it was, you know, posted on. The stream wasn't worth 5 cents. But exactly, what about it just destroyed it? You know, the entertainment value could have been more, of course. You know, we didn't see really a whole lot.
You know what? It was mainly the whole CM Punk thing. Because if you remember last episode, it was supposed to end with a bang, and it did. Mm-hmm. But then the whole segment in the beginning of the show wasn't really entertaining. It was just CM Punk doing the summer thing, the same thing he did last year, if you really think about it. Mm-hmm. He wasn't dropping pipe bombs. He wasn't speaking out of scripts, but he was just doing the same exact thing he did last year. This time against The Rock, which is not going to appear until like next year. So there was no point to that segment whatsoever. That's what I feel.
It's absolutely truth. I mean, it just seems that TGC feels that CM Punk really didn't bring anything new, and that's why they sort of need to twist him. You know, they need to push CM Punk in a new direction. You know, hey, look, you're not entertaining the folks, you're entertaining yourself. You need to entertain the folks and entertain yourself while making sure that everybody else enjoys watching what you're doing. And they're not really doing it, but they are trying to move him into the heel perspective instead of being the tweener slash babyface perspective like TGC had mentioned earlier. Another thing to note is Big Show and John Cena match, it was predictable. That's another thing it wasn't really entertaining about. It was completely predictable.
That was meant to waste time.
And it's just stuff, you know. The matches that TGC saw, because TGC was a little bit late to get to see everything. He saw a little bit of the opener with CM Punk cross-legged on the commentary table, and then that's all he saw. And then he gets in around 8 o'clock, you know, midway point, and it's just complete, you know, repetitiveness. It's nothing that actually entertained, but it's something that keeps you watching because you want to know and see if something else is going to happen. And that's really the only thing that's happening with TGC right now.
They were supposed to follow up with something crazy, if you really think about it. They were supposed to follow up with something real crazy after the 1,000 episode.
Yeah.
After you end the show like that, you were supposed to come up with something real.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what happened with the writers or fans for that matter, but like they haven't even said anything about Brock Lesnar. They just showed what happened last week, which was retarded. Triple H didn't even come out and say anything.
So nothing happened with that.
The segment for CM Punk was nothing. No, nobody came out. Not even Triple H to talk shit. Nothing happened. CM Punk doing the summer thing, talking shit once again. Big Show, Cena is like, if you really think about it, 2 years back I think it was, when they had the 4 months storyline, I think it was 4 months or something like that. Same old shit, different year.
Yeah.
Everything that happened in this show happened either last year or 2 years ago.
So we're hitting the old wrestling loop type thing again, where they ran out of ideas and they're recycling old ones.
Yeah, well, you would think for SummerSlam they would come up with something more creative. Mm-hmm. This is the second biggest pay-per-view of the year, right?
Yeah, SummerSlam is the main
most
event.
They have is Brock Lesnar and Triple H.
It's basically what they need to do is they need to focus on the superstars they now have accessible. Randy Orton's back into play. TGC mentioned that before. Randy Orton's back. You know, they have a new star player. Christian needs to be put back into the field. They need to stop pushing him on the Intercontinental title, and they need to bring him back in the World Championship run. He's a really big contender. He's inexperienced. He's a veteran. They need to bring him back. See, who else needs to
on a sign note, did anybody realize that Randy Orton was looking real skinny?
He was,
he wasn't in shape at all?
It seemed that way, but it's what it could have been. It could have been, you know, him working out as hard as he was for the 60 days. You know, TGC doesn't know, but doesn't want to make excuses for the guy. He's not using because he wouldn't be allowed back. You know, they have to do a whole process where on the 60th day he has to pass the drug test. If he doesn't, then bam, expulsion. He's done. So obviously the guy's clean.
Yeah, but like really, think about it. That's like Triple H failing a test. What you really think is gonna happen? They're not gonna fire him. If they do fire him, remember his contract is under the 60-day no competition clause or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Right. So they will wait the 60 days and hire him back, and he has no strikes.
Yeah. So
he's not gonna leave, even if he does fail. They're gonna fire him, wait 60 days, hire him back.
Yep. It just seems, you know, it's just iffy on the aspect of the whole, you know, how they run business. But what do you think about Ric Flair rumoring coming back to WWE?
Honestly, I think it's coming to SmackDown. I wouldn't be surprised if that's him on SmackDown, the new GM.
Mm-hmm. You think that he might be the new GM on SmackDown because, you know, the rumors of him possibly returning and all that stuff, it's strong because people were wondering why he wasn't at Raw 1000. His contract wasn't ready yet.
Still, but you know they have the lawsuit going on with TNA.
Yeah, the details on that to TGC
that lawsuit
are
can stop
minimal.
a lot of plans you have.
Yeah, TGC doesn't really know a lot about those details, but it's up there.
Let me make it simple for you. Pretty much TNA was mad because WWE has more money and they were taking their talent.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they sued them. That's about it. and some ex-employee from TNA used to work over there, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
They gave contact information to them or some shit like that. I don't even. It was something similar to that, something like that.
So let's see if NWO can join us. If y'all aren't really familiar with the whole staff and the people, the folks who work at Wrestle Your Way, TGC is the voice. He's the podcaster. If you haven't noticed that by now, Yaya is the owner, the mind, the brain, the constructive criticism behind the entire faction. Ben, the NWO, is one of the main head guys behind everything that goes on besides Yaya. He's basically Yaya's voice behind the scenes. And if we can get this guy to come in here. See what we got going on. Got a small little technical difficulties, guys. Huh. Well, unfortunately, there's this. The hell is that? There we go. So, unfortunately, the call dropped when TGC tried to add Ben into the conversation. But what you should know is we've had a couple discussions. We've discussed some things. And, you know, we're just trying to figure this out, guys. You know, it's our first trial run. We're making sure everything works properly. TGC's had experience with this stuff before. If the freaking thing would answer the phone, we'd get Yaya back in here. And Ben, there they are. Hold on. Hello? Ugh. TGC is so disappointed. But so we've been going at this, guys. We had good conversations. We're discussing some things.
There we go.
There, see? You're back in.
Where's Ben?
Right there. It looks like he's popping in.
We all in now?
Ben? Ben, are you here?
I don't think he has a mic, does he?
Well, if he doesn't have a mic, he can type in the chat. We have Waka saying something. Mick Foley would fit the SmackDown GM job. You know, and it seems... hold on, who said this?
That was Waka.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing with that, though. Mick Foley's been there. If you're going to do anything to just make SmackDown, make anybody look at SmackDown again, it will have to be Ric Flair.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make any sense to put other person or no bullshit, basically. SmackDown's a sci-fi, a fucking sci-fi. Nobody looks at that as it is. And you're going to put Mick Foley, this is just going to make the ratings worse.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. You know, Mick Foley, he's known for his legend status in WWE, but you have to realize he's been warned. You know, he's a good face to have for occasional appearances, but having an every week appearance, it'd be kind of rough. Ric Flair, on the other hand, having professional experience, you know, he'd be better off. You know, he helped run TNA for a little bit. He helped do stuff in WWE. He trained talent. He has the experience behind it. Ric Flair would be a good choice over Mick Foley.
Yeah, look, here's what's gotta happen with SmackDown. Because they were supposed to do this a long time ago, but SmackDown needs to go on Tuesdays live. Now that they have, what is it called, the main event show coming on in October. I don't know if you guys know about that yet.
No.
But they have a new show coming in October on Wednesdays.
Oh, so they're trying to do the Wednesday show
SmackDown
again?
Yeah, they're doing a Wednesday show. I don't know if it's like an actual show or... I have no idea about it. What are you adding? Who's this? Waka?
That's Waka.
That's the most funniest picture I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my god.
Did you just see it? Yeah.
Yeah, TGC just saw it. That is completely
like,
ridiculous.
see, now he got scared and
Oh
left.
my god. Hold on, guys. TGC's got to bring this in. Oh, where'd he go? No!
Alright, we got on the stream. Alright, look, now we're gonna move this away from Justin TV server.
Yeah.
And as a shop box, we're gonna use our own little shop box under it. The site shop box.
Yep.
And I would give you the settings and what software to use, because he doesn't know what he's doing right now. I'll give you a little training section tomorrow after work.
That's perfectly fine, man. We can wrap this up if you want to go and wrap it up. We've been going at it for an hour. We've been live for an hour, so we can wrap it up. The conversation basically ends with Ric Flair coming to SmackDown. We can continue this discussion on SmackDown when we figure out who the GM's going to be. So
Done. Let's do this Thursday after TNA.
let's do it.
Pre-tape. We can read it on Thursday.
Let's do it.
I'll be on. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be on, but I'll be on. I'll set you up.
All right.
So talk to you guys tomorrow.
Take care, guys. TGC's going to wrap this up. For the viewers that are remaining, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for talking with us. Thank you for being here. WrestleManiac 550. You know, Andrew Hughes, thank you for being a part of this conversation. You know, we're still here. We're going to be doing it again on Thursday. We're also going to do it again on Friday. And we might even do it after the pay-per-view. Might. Just depends if TGC wants to go to sleep or not. But thank you for tuning in, guys. You know, it was a slight success. We have a couple technical difficulties, but we're going to work on it. We're going to get it going. You know, TGC's working with limited equipment.